in the truss rod so it's a straight neck instead of, doesn't have any back bow or too much bow this way. Then whack off the nut. And we take our file, and the object is that all these frets should be as shiny as this one.
Cool.
So we'll start at the bottom. Now, just so you know, files only work in one direction. So when you do this, all that does is kind of dull your file. So these are the high ones right here and here, because we reset the neck, and those two are always high when you reset a neck.
You gotta hit those a little extra.
Yeah, and I see that this one. Did you hear that sound?
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like a woof. Yeah, this fret is sticking up, so we gotta.
This one?
Yeah, we gotta stick it down. So, super glue is our friend.
That's the fast drying stuff?
Yeah, this makes the super glue dry fast. You gotta wait till it evaporates. This is the fret that we took out in order to steam the neck, so
now it's loose.
Always loose. They're always loose. That's what they do. They get loose. So, I'm gonna something to hold it down. See, it wiggles. Just a little.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But that's enough to.
What would that do? The wiggling, like what negative effects?
Well, it makes it sit up too high, so you end up grinding it more than you need to.
Oh, I see. So we're just trying to push it back down as far as possible.
Right. Get the excess glue off.
And you can just push right into it because there's there's a block right in the body there, right?
Yeah. You can pretty much do that on any fret.
Even if it's like here?
Yep.
Oh.
As long as you have something underneath to push against. Alright, it's not moving. And then just get the excess glue off.
Cool.
Luckily this fingerboard is very greasy, so the glue doesn't stick so much to the fingerboard.
Could be worse then, huh?
Yeah, we can touch this up after all the frets are ground and everything, but that's just to get the lumps out.
Cool.
Okay, meanwhile, we're grinding.
So you just hit all of the frets evenly until they're all pretty polished and flat.
Till the tops of them are hit. You can see they're shinier on the tops.
Yep.
I think that's pretty good. Oh, there's one spot right there that isn't hit. We're grinding.
So you just hit all of the frets evenly until they're all pretty polished and flat.
Till the tops of them are hit. You can see they're shinier on the tops.
Yep.
I think that's pretty good. Oh, there's one spot right there that isn't hit. There we go. It's making that sound, which makes you think another fret might be loose.
Yeah, well, they all look pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you get down here?
Nope. Okay, now that we have these done, pretty much, we got their tops.
we move on to the
No, we just
all the way down.
do the whole thing.
And you're literally starting all the way from the bottom of the net.
Yep.
But you already hit the net, so why are you doing it again?
Because these guys are always too high.
So it's
And you
more
see
than
it's
fine
not
to-
touching here, so but it is touching here. So, you know, you want to
Okay.
almost.
And you just apply even downward pressure when you use the file.
There. It's not hitting here. Because this fret's lower than these.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, you could see how like flat and shiny most of them are.
Right.
So if one fret is lower than the rest, do you have to hit all of them even more until that fret is hit, so that they're all even?
Yeah.
So you gotta lower every single one pretty much to as low as the lowest one is.
Exactly. And sometimes you'll be doing this and realize, oh, you know, it would be easier to put another fret in, you know,
Yeah.
because you'll
Just so
get
you don't
all the
lower
frets
them.
so low. But this looks okay. There's one more.
And this guitar, you know, it doesn't get played as much. Maybe it will now after this.
Oh, yeah.
But it probably won't need another fret thing for a bit.
Right.
Nice.
So we've gone through all of them. There aren't any grooves in the. Usually there are grooves where the D chord is and the C chord,
Yeah.
or where the capo sits and then the D chord and the C chord up here. But they're all pretty level now.
Yeah, they look good.
So the next thing we do, I don't always do this anymore, but when you're just starting out, it's a good idea. Put a cover here, just so you don't bash up your guitar when you're grinding frets.
Mm.
Let's give it a little more tape.
Grinding frets. Okay.
So we have a straight file, which is good for doing these guys, and has safe edges, so it shouldn't mar up the edges of the wood. Same as this one. Same idea. But this one, you notice, is curved, and that's great because when you're doing above on the fingerboard extension, those frets, you don't want to hit the top of the guitar. And this allows you to.
Is that why you have this protective shield, pretty much?
Yes. Now since these are diamond files, so you can go in both directions.
So now after doing the initial grind and polish, or grind,
Yeah.
now we're doing the polish.
Now
of
we're
each
crowning the frets. It's called crowning.
crowning.
And what you're trying to do is get rid of the line that you just made.
Okay,
So it
and
looks
smooth it
like-
out on
right.
the sides.
And you might not get it all. It's okay. You know, get as much as you can. And I tend to count my strokes while I'm doing it in my head.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that.
Uh-huh.
This one is not so important because it's the lowest fret.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
That's pretty good.
Can I get a close-up of those?
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, beautiful.
So you want to do some?
Yes.
Okay, stop now. we got all the frets. We filed them all with these files,
Crowning files?
the crowning files. Now, you might want to come on this side. Basically, what I'm going to do is, and this has a safe edge and a safe edge. There's no, I
It's a little
ground.
dark.
Yeah, I ground it off so that it's not a file anymore on the edges.
Mm.
It's a little bit, but anyway. So now we go on both sides. And you work it around until then you do the then you do the top. So that gets pretty smooth. This is a mill smooth plane, or file, excuse me. So it makes a nicer surface.
So you do this with every fret. And are you counting this number of strokes like you
No,
were?
I just kind of trying to make them round, you know? Get the edge off. Because those round files are pretty good, but they're not perfect.
Yeah. So this is just touching up what those files were trying to do.
Yeah,
And you do it for every single one?
every single goddamn one.
And when you're done with this step, you have...
There's more.
There's more.
No, there's more.
And this whole process is called grinding and polishing strokes.
Yep.
Should I keep the video rolling then if this is the same thing?
No, you can stop.
Okay.
So I have these erasers, which I have for different wide frets. I put a groove, filed a groove in them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we wrap a piece of sandpaper on it, and for this method, you tape the whole fingerboard
Mm-hmm.
because this is going to mess it up. But you go like this. Until it gets shiny all over. If the very top isn't shiny, you can go like this just to get the last little bit. So that's the old method.
That is super shiny.
It's not done yet. Okay,
That's the
Now-
old method. So what's the new method?
Stumac makes these. They're like erasers, but they're gritty.
Mm.
This is a 600, which is the same as this. And you can use this pretty much without messing up the fingerboard.
Nice. It's a softer material.
No, it's just as hard, but it's a harder thing than an eraser, a real eraser.
Mm.
And, you know, like I said, if you do touch the fingerboard, you can always, you know,
File it out a little
you
bit.
can sort of sand it out, yeah. So we're going to hit those babies.
So this is the very last step. This is polish?
This is not the last step.
Oh. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
You see, this is why we get the big bucks. This is the almost last step.
Okay. But is this the polish? Are we polishing?
We're polishing. We've been polishing since we started with the second kind of file, but,
Gotcha.
you know, just... You can stop now.
Okay.
Now we have that. Wait a second. Let me get all this stuff together. We're just checking the edges to see if they're rough. And if they are, we take this special little file and round over those corners a little bit. There, and then we'll do it on the other side too.
Feels good.
Okay, that's enough.
Yes.
Between the edges, around the tops. And since this is long enough to span a couple of frets, you won't injure the fingerboard, the edges.
Nice. Both sides.
And then when I'm done, I like to just do this a little bit, because there's always a little spot somewhere that doesn't get, that might not get touched by this. And you know, you don't want to flatten the frets, but you want them all to not have any nicks in them. Okay, next step.
These sure are pretty shiny.
I'm getting there.
So then, what's the next step?
The next step is the oil in the. Let's take this tape off.
Olive oil
Oh yeah, in the honey jar.
in the honey jar.
Well, I find it's easier. You can just put a little drop here and there, and
Anywhere. And you rub it in with your hand.
yeah.
Put that nice shiny dark color now.
Yeah, it looks nice. This will clean the wood off as well as the frets. And you notice when you do this, then the frets are a little duller than they were before. But that's okay.
Yeah, and you have steel wool in your hand.
4O steel wool.
4 O's.
Yeah, anything else will leave scratches.
Super fine, man.
Yeah, super fine. The finest you can get. And that'll get any dirt or what we call mung off the fingerboard. Okay. Now the final step.
Final step.
We use the Dremel.
Dremel?
It's a Dremel tool. It spins. Let me
Whoa.
plug it in. It spins better when you plug it in. I have a little grinding compound. And very carefully.
Let's just shine them right up again.
Yep.
What about the olive oil makes them dull? Or the steel wool?
Nothing. Well, it's rougher than the 600 sandpaper.
Okay.